What's up, doggo? Fun race in and around the delightful Lake Wairarapa, in the Wairarapa, over the hill in Wellington here. So an 80 kilometre exactly semi-mass start road race, rolling terrain around the lake. I'll tell you, let's break down the race and some lessons to take away. So, stats first. For total riding time of 1:56:03. Good conditions, low winds, 80 kilometers exactly, climbing off 341 meters. Some rollers, one main climb of about, but still only about 90 meters elevation, not even that. About 2,000 calories burned on this puppy. So it's like a power 287 average for an effective of 328, medium high, and it's quite a big difference between the power and the effective power because the power delivery was pretty stochastic. There was a lot of all or nothing. Average speed 41.4 k an hour, so pretty fast. Average cadence, average 92 RPM. So you can see the route goes from down from the start of Featherston, neutralised for a couple of k's, down the lake. The section, let's stick my finger out. Section down the lake here is all just rolling, lots of attacks, a lot of them instigated by me, but didn't really come to much. The bunch was still pretty frisky. There's a section, it's kind of fast section, and then here there's a little climb at about the 30k mark. And it always lights up because here is where the big crosswinds always are. And there's usually a crosswind coming across into the gutter, and that's where I put a lot of power down. So actually, why don't we go around the map? You can see, if I look at the analysis on the power there, to the left, you know, it's some attacks, some not, but that part I was just mentioning with the crosswinds, that's here. And you can see that little section here. I'm putting in 400 to 500 watts for 30 seconds to a minute right in the gutter to try to string out the bunch, which worked, and we did drop some guys. I'm keeping an eye on guys like Matt Webb-Smith to think, you know, it's quite good to string it out in conditions like that. And if they get caught near the back, they might lose the wheel. It's unlikely that's going to matter for a guy like that because he's so strong, he'll just be able to come around, lay down 700 watts for 20 seconds and come back on the next wheel. So not a big deal. And it didn't really come to much apart from dropping a few of the lower riders. Next part, if we look at the map, again, there's like a lot of fast, really fast riding up through here coming towards Martinborough. That's where the maximum speeds of like 60 to 70 kilometers an hour were happening. Even though it's not really steep descents or anything, the tailwinds, usually a little bit of a tailwind there. Into Martinborough, and then the only climb of any note is here, a few k's out of Martinborough, which is about short climb. Let's see if I can do it here. If I zoom in here. What do we got? An elevation on the climb out of Martinborough of average gradient 6.2%. Climbing of just 40 meters or so. So it only takes a minute and a half. We powered up there at 473 watts at the top. So I'll just go back maybe to the major split of the day. Let's rewind a little bit, sorry. It happened on, where did it happen? It happened on, this section, it must have happened here, near the, oh wait, that's the turn, that's the little climb. This section here, so there's a little climb, and the sharp left-hander, and the wind changes a lot there. Tony Gestro went pretty hard up the climb 100 meters before that little 90-degree turn. I chased him. On my wheel was Matt Webb-Smith and Matt Stevens. We also had one more rider, Aaron Stagg, away with us. A group of 5, and all the way up, so here we go, all the way up to this fast section to Martinborough, swapping out, working really well together, taking turns, single line pace line. When you've got 4 or 5 guys together, it's usually best to do that move where you know, just have like 30 seconds of a minute on the front edge, working just above threshold, fall to the back, get recovery, and then rinse and repeat, rather than trying to have a standardized pace line. It works way better. Okay, then we got the climb out of Martinborough, just here. Then Matt Webb-Smith. I'm putting down reasonable power to see what would happen to especially Matt Stevens and Aaron Stagg, and I thought Tony would be strong enough to hold on, so I didn't count on dropping him, but we did drop Aaron Stagg. He had a great ride. Came down to the 4 of us, and right at the top, Matt Webb-Smith made an attack over the crest of the hill, putting down some serious power to gap us by about 10 to 20 seconds. Then, my view, that was quite good, because that left me working with Tony Gestro and Matt Stevens all the way from that climb towards the last 10 k's towards Featherston. So what's going on in my mind here is we've got Matt Webb-Smith, who's the strongest rider, kind of dangling about 10 seconds up the road. And I always like to think to myself, because I've been in that position, like, you want to make the person feel like they've got a chance so that they keep working hard, but not so far that they're going to win. So I'm talking to Tony about this, because I think I can beat Tony in the final, and the idea is that maybe I can, wait, the focus has got fucked up there. Oh man, it's just a screen going no. I'm thinking we reel in, we're holding him pretty easy. I'm thinking, if we can just maybe catch him 3 kilometers and out or so, I'll counter-attack. And that's exactly what happened. We reeled him in. I counter-attacked him on the bridge about 3 k's from Featherston, and I did manage to drop Tony and Matt, but Matt Webb-Smith was too strong and was able to pretty easily come over to my wheel. Him and I swapped it out a little bit, but I didn't really want to take him to the line particularly. Jason and Matt did catch up, and my feeling is, well, Tony did a bunch of work on the front towards the end, and he was so strong, I think he could have been a little bit more ridden within himself a little bit more, allowed others to take more turns, because I think he could have done better in the final than he did. Regardless, really a 4-up track sprint from about 100 meters out from the line, and unfortunately I'm not the world's best sprinter. Well, let's see, I'll show you my data here. If I just zoom in, this is my sprint. So we had, if I just highlight that section there, you can see I sprinted for about 15 to 18 seconds. There you go, 18 seconds, averaging 883 watts, 99 RPM. You know, our distance, 236 meters, so about 200 meters out. Here's the thing, I'm a heavier rider than Matt Webb-Smith, and I've got not a lot of snaps, so he can really put down a lot of power, produce it really quickly. And even though I can sort of lumber up to a reasonably high speed, it takes me some time, and in a short sprint like that it's not going to happen. So I have to think about those tactics, but ultimately the best guy won. So that was how the race played. The bunch only about 20 seconds behind us. First, Matt Webb-Smith, 1:55.57 was the official time by the looks. Me less than a second later, Matt Stevens third, beating Tony. But I wouldn't mind betting that Tony could have beat him. I don't know if he just judged his effort in the final ride. The bunch coming in 20 seconds later, led by Colin Sullivan, Paul Delahunty, Derek Roberts, Paul Davies, the sponsor from Capitals, Fitlab rider Chris Southern doing real well there. He's in super form, and Jason Gestro 14th as well, and awesome ride from Josh Turnbull there in 16th. Josh got dropped in the first 3Ks of the race last year, coming back to win his age grade and coming 16th overall this year. So I'm super pleased with how Josh is progressing. So anyway, that's the race. So we're going to say here, I think takeaways are, maybe for me, try to go for a longer sprint, or maybe try to persist with some more later long attacks. Could be, and maybe if you're thinking about how this applies to you and your riding, think about what kind of rider you are. Maybe do the 4D analysis on Sufferfest, or on Cycling Analytics as a tool. I can show you how if you're one of my riders. And sort of leverage what you're good at in a race. That's all I'd say. Apart from that, was pretty good. Next race is North Island Team Series, race 3. The biggest climbs, and it's going to be very decisive for the series. I will have riders such as Brendan McGrath and Matt Frecklington, amongst other really good riders, up against teams like Wheelworks with Andy Hagen and Dave Weaver. We'll probably may have Dave Rollins from GP Mayo there. We will have other threats. Even Kate McElroy is a very good climber. She may not have as much power on the flat, but she's always very tactically smart and a very good climber, good powder weight. We will have probably other threats coming in from the Wheelworks team, even climbers in the Rivet team like Mark Hussey could be really, really good, and he's got a lot of points. So a lot of smack is going to go down on that climb very, very hard and very, very fast. 5 to 6 watts per kilo for 10 minutes up the Windmill Hill, and same again the other way, so we'll find out if we can do it. Yeah, I feel like I'm a bit nervous that I don't want to let the team down, and I want to have a good ride. Ideally I want to get the jersey. I don't know if I can, and I feel like I've got a really good team, and I don't want to, I don't want to let them down. I don't want to have a shit ride. I don't want to make mistakes. And I guess I just have to do the basics right. I think if I was coached by me, which I guess I kind of am, I would say, Steve, get the basics right. So that's what I'll do. All right, so I'll drop it there. So get some Tailwind, get some Biomaxa, come to Fitlab, get a program, and go to Capital Cycles because they sponsored the event on the weekend, which is really, really cool. Oh, shout out to the club doing a great job. John Curran, new race, one of my riders and race organizer as a whole for the around the lake fun ride yesterday, which went really, really well. No major problems at all. I apologise for almost going up the arse of the lead car, driven by Ross in the first few Ks of the race. I think neither of us expected me to be going so fast up the side or him to be going so slow over the railway lines. But no harm, no foul. So sorry about that, Ross. All right, yeah, come and get some of my stuff. Discount codes under the video. Good times. See you soon, guys.